I'm a very opinionated person. If something doesn't feel good, in this sense, a disc golf disc, I make judgments about said disc. Doesn't mean I give up on it, but for most of us, when you're trying out a new disc and you don't like it right away, it's hard to get over it. So here's my top 10 discs that I hate. Some of these you may know, probably because you hate them as well. But for others, you might not know them. I might hate how a disc feels, how it looks, or how it flies. All of these have made it into my top 10. Let's get into it. Well, this one was easy. Maybe the most diverse disc possibly in disc golf. The Berg is just so weird. And sometimes weird is good, but in this case, nah. It's a dumb disc. There, I said it. I have thrown it quite a few times. Some backhand, some sidearms. Hate the feel of it, and that's what most people say too. The rim is weird, it's just really, really different. Now for the flight of the disc, I'm not gonna have a disc in my bag that I can't get some distance out of it. Like, I want to have some glide on the disc, especially for some putters. And if you need to back off on the disc, I'll just throw it lighter. It's not that hard. Whereas a Berg, you're not gonna push something out of it. That's a little extra for a shot. Shout out to my disc golf buddy Tom. The guy used to putt with Bergs. Pretty good too. That, to this day, I will never understand. Kastaplast Berg, maybe my most hated disc. I don't know how many people throw this dang thing. The tilt, stupid overstable, definitely the most overstable disc I've thrown, and just is impossible to use. I've played maybe thousands of rounds of disc golf now, and never have I walked up to a shot and been like, yeah, I need a tilt right here. Actually throwing it upside down gives you a better chance on using it somewhat properly, but I can comfortably say I don't really like the disc. I don't hate it as much as the Berg, but it's up there. The Discmania tilt, for anyone who bags it, I question your decision-making ability not only on the disc golf course, but also in life. Love the company, hate the disc. I'm choosing the Banger GT for this spot, not necessarily because of the Banger, but because of the GT. Discraft's Groove Top technology. When I was starting out in disc golf, I got my hands on a Banger GT and I was like, this is awesome. This is what disc golf is about. I've got a placement on the disc to help me putt and throw. Like, I can now throw putting putters just like everyone else does. Fast forward a couple years and I look back on how stupid I was. I felt a Banger GT not that long ago, and I gave it a nice toss, and then I decided to never throw that disc again. It's awful. Honest opinion right there. People grow. I've become wise in my old age. And for a disc with that kind of quote-unquote technology, I'm gonna pass. It's strange and feels awful, and unlike the Berg, I actually don't know anyone who bags a Discraft Banger GT. I never will, that's for sure. What even is this thing? The Alien from Innova looks like a UFO, hence the Alien, and is a sonic top with a mid-range bottom. Have I thrown this disc? The answer is no. Have I felt this disc while shopping? Yes, feels like a chew toy. It's weird. Like I said, I'm opinionated and this is not the disc for me. First time I found it, I was like, what is this thing? A disc golf disc or a dog bowl? Disc golf disc or a trash can top? Disc golf disc or Tupperware? Okay, I'm done, but you get the gist of it. Didn't feel remotely close to a normal disc. I didn't even know how to hold it, to be honest. The top is so strange that gripping it like a normal mid-range really wasn't possible. You almost had to adjust how you normally held a disc. That's just going to make anyone's list for how you hate some discs. This was easy money into my top 10 most hated. Good luck if you ever get your hands on one of these. The Discmania P3X. Okay, this relationship is very complicated. Let me explain. I will give a disc maybe a couple chances. If I don't like how it feels, I'm gonna call it quits. But my P3X is an exception to that. I have put so much effort into throwing that disc as much as I possibly can. When thrown well, it's a really stable putter to throw, and it's nice to have that shot. But it's pretty rare that I throw it well. I have grip locked that disc more than any other ones. I grip locked it 3 times in one round, 2 of those times going into the water, and I thought I was losing my mind. I will not give up on that disc, but I do hate it. Every time I'm like, yeah, I need a stable backhand approach with a putter. I dread the shot, but it almost makes me focus way more. But if you ask me which disc in my bag that I like the least, it would be the P3X. I've had to adjust how I throw it, so I don't grip lock it every time. Love-hate relationship for me and my P3X, but it belongs on this list. I have thrown so many Hades into the water, it's ridiculous. I no longer throw them, and it's for that reason, just way too inconsistent on the flight, and for me, that results in losing said disc. Now, I don't know if this is as much Discraft and an issue with differences in runs of Hades, but I've had so many that were flippy, and I trusted that it was going to flip, and then it beefs up straight out of the hand and goes into the water. There was this one hole in Florida that I always played. Pretty sure there are 3 Hades in the water, basically the same spot. It's another one of those discs that was a love-hate relationship. You get a Domi, ESP Hades, man, might not be anything better in disc golf, but good luck on trusting the flight of the disc. Threw it 100% and boom, flips over, Throw it 90% into a headwind and suddenly I'm in the water. I'm sorry for all the pollution to Earth due to me throwing it so many Discraft Hades into the water. My bad. Well, if you're going to have the most ridiculous overstable disc, the tilt probably going to include the Rollo. I judge the Rollo off of practical usage. If it's meant to teach you how to throw rollers, sure, it flips over and gets to the ground, but good roller discs are discs you've beat in from being flippy, and when they hit the ground, they have some stability to them. The Rollo flies and then hits and then dies, at least when I've tried it, and the feel of them is not good at all. This one might be something I get more flack for, but I did not like that throwing it. Felt kind of sharp and wide at the same time. There's no throwing it smooth and getting some glide. Maybe if you have like 0 arm speed, but for a big dog like me who throws, let's say 350 on a good day, the Rollo ain't doing anything for me. Plenty of other discs that you can work in to fill that shot. Alright, this one takes a bit of a backstory for why I'm not a fan. Let's say 2021, I'm looking for a disc in a somewhat muddy area. Some standing water, some cattails maybe growing. Not a great place to throw your disc. While I was looking for my disc I had just thrown, I found a Nuke OS, purple and blue. 2 colors, I believe it was ESP. Now, I take said disc home with me and leave it on my counter. A couple hours go by and I forgot about it, and then my kitchen absolutely reeks like swamp water. After some investigating, I find it to be the somewhat dirty Nuke OS. It even made my hands smell after cleaning it. When no matter what I do, I have PTSD whenever I see a Nuke OS. Nothing to do with the flight. I mean, it's a big boy disc, but the smell and how long it took me to get my apartment to stop smelling like that swamp is something that will stay with me forever. I hate that disc, always will. Maybe the most unknown disc on this list, but I will take blame for part of why I hate it. 14 speed from MVP, not a great disc to use as a new player to disc golf. I just wanted a distance driver. I wanted to throw far. So I found a disc that basically told me it would go far. It didn't go far, let me tell you. Felt awful, wide rim. I don't know if it's part of the gyro technology that for the distance drivers, they just feel different than other companies. And from experience now I know that the weakest part of the MVP lineup is the distance driver. Putters, mids, and fairways, people love them, but the drivers aren't super popular. What a beef disc though. Like I said so many times, just to get it out of my hand on a line I wanted with a flight I wanted, and it just never did anything close to that. This is hatred mixed with a bit of sadness. I wish this disc had been something I could have enjoyed. Instead, it makes my top 10 most hated discs. I once played with a dude who, for almost every approach shot, would throw pig rollers. Yep, forehand pig rollers. Made no sense, but he was so good at it. It was like a backyard game. It wasn't disc golf. He was in his own little world. So I gave it a shot. I started the video hating thumb tracks, and I'm going to finish it with hating thumb tracks. I don't know if it's the OG forehand disc with that kind of top, but God, it's awful. In my mind, I'm like, I could use this kind of disc. I can never get over the fact that there's a groove on the top of the disc, but nope, couldn't get over it. And if you're wondering, I was not able to successfully accomplish the forehand pig roller approach shot. That's probably part of it. I had high hopes seeing what that dude could do with the pig. Then I sucked with it. Probably why I hate it. Alright, what did you guys think of my top 10 most hated discs? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you agree with it? Comment what you thought. If you made a list for your most hated discs, would any of them match? Thanks for watching, like and subscribe and all that jazz. Maybe I'll make another top 10 with your guys' comments, maybe top 10 discs that everyone else hates the most. I don't know, title is a work in progress, but we'll see if it works. Alright, I'll see you guys next time. Cheers.